Showbiz won't talk about him.
Showbiz is a cruel and shallow money trench, a long plastic hallway where thieves and pimps run free and good men die like dogs for no good reason. There's also a bad side.
This is the Backseat Mogul Show live here on Rough Edge FM. I am R. Scott Bolton. I am the Backseat Mogul, and this is the show. What is wrong with my voice? Excuse me, that was weird. I am the Backseat Mogul, and this is the show about show business. Johnny D is sitting over there.
Good morning, Scotty.
It's weird because I have to point the opposite direction because I don't have it mirrored. It's weird, but that's where Johnny's at. He's actually over there, but he's actually really over here. I know, it's weird. Anyway, Monday is Christmas. So last week we talked about the top 15, I believe, black and white Christmas movies of all time. Today we're going to talk about the top 20 Christmas movies of all time. All of them, black and white. Yep, TV, color, black and white, whatever it is, we're going to be talking about them today. So we're going to get right into that list here in a matter of moments. First of all, you and your families have a great Christmas. Enjoy the holidays out there. Do whatever you do because that's all that matters. As long as you're together, as long as you're doing something that's meaningful. And even if you're not, you know what Christmas is great for? It's a great day to go to the movies.
Yes.
It's always one of the most popular days of the year. A lot of people go to the movies, and there's a lot of good movies out there to see, including the new Aquaman movie, which isn't doing so great out of the gate. It's but they said about $45 million this weekend. Not what they were hoping for that. DC's having a rough time. So that is a DC movie, not a Marvel movie, right? I thought so. And I like those movies. And, I like Jason Momoa.
Oh, yeah. He's a perfect choice for Aquaman.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to make it or not. Before we get started, and I don't know if I talked about this last week, and I apologize again for my voice. Give me 1 second.
You know what you should take? You got any of that honey bourbon around here? That honey will help soothe.
That's not a bad idea, but it's not soothing that I'm worried. Just a little tickle I got going, so I'll be all right. Curb Your Enthusiasm is returning for I think its 11th and final season. It'll be out in February, so Larry David will give us one more round, probably of 10 episodes, I'm guessing, of Curb Your Enthusiasm. That show's been on for like 21 years, and I just love it. It's one of those shows that is just so. I've literally. This isn't a joke. I have literally fallen out of a chair laughing at Curb Your Enthusiasm. That show is so great. Now, I know John can't stand Larry David.
I don't know.
My wife's the same way. She can watch it and she understands the humor. She gets it. But the screeching, not just Larry, but everybody else finally gets to her. And I told her that's part of the thing. First of all, you're not supposed to like Larry David, the character. He's kind of a jerk, which is what makes it so fun to watch him. Second, the screeching and yelling and all that, that's also part of the show. It's all part of the entertainment value. And I'm gonna miss that show, but I also understand why Larry is calling it quits. And based on the artwork, it looks like he's really calling it quits because the artwork's got him standing in the middle of an ice field, looks like the North Pole or something. And he's standing on one little tiny iceberg with that weird look at his face all by himself out there doing in the middle of nowhere. So maybe he's really going to go flying off the handle on that. But I wanted to mention that just before we get into the top 20 Christmas movies because I am a big Larry David fan, Curb Your Enthusiasm fan, and I'm very much looking forward to the final season of Curb Your Enthusiasm, which will be on Max, of course. Johnny, you're not going to have much to write down today, are you?
No, not really.
He's going to say Curb Your Enthusiasm. 20 Christmas movies.
You just mentioned earlier about a good thing to do this Christmas season. Go to the movies. Well, you know what else is a good thing to do?
Tell me, John.
Read a good book. And speaking of
books,
my favorite book of all time, written by R. Scott Bolton,
that's me,
our very own prolific author. Should I look that word up?
No, prolific's not really accurate. I mean, I write a book a year. I'm not sure that's prolific.
But my favorite book by R. Scott Bolton, affectionately known as Scotty, is Dead Dick. But his most latest that is available is Death and the Mogul. Now, there are a host of books. There's like 50 million books out there that Scotty has written.
I don't think it's that many.
Okay, maybe there's 12 that are available?
No, there's only 6 available.
6 available.
No, I'm sorry. There's 8 available. There's
8
the 13 that I've written.
But if you've got Amazon Prime, you can order it. Go to Amazon, type in R. Scott Bolton, author. It'll give you a list of all the books that Scotty has written that they have that's available for sale. And if you happen to be in Santa Paula, go to Bank of Books on Main Street. I'm sure there's a couple of different titles there.
There are.
And you get it. You come knocking on the door of the studio, Scotty will autograph that for you.
Well, if I'm here, I'm not here often.
Or somebody will autograph it for him.
Or you could leave it and I'll mail it back to you. I don't know. We'll figure something
out. But Death and the Mogul, the most latest, makes a great Christmas gift. Or in this case, because Christmas is right around the corner, I mean, really right around the corner.
Yeah.
Make a nice New Year's gift to start the new year off right.
That's what everybody gets is a New Year's gift.
So go to Amazon.com and buy yourself a book by R. Scott Bolton.
So your movie choices this weekend, and I know I keep promising we'll get you to the top 20 Christmas movies, which we will very quickly. Your movie choices this weekend are American Fiction, which stars Jeffrey Wright and Tracy Ellis Ross. Right there, those two make it worth watching. A Woman of Paris, a Drama of Fate, which is a drama romance, also out this weekend. Breakwater, a thriller with Dermot Mulroney and Mina Suvari. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, we talked about that before. Solar, which is a foreign language film, I believe, 2 hours and 55 minutes. That's a long one, but I've heard good things about it. A big action adventure story. Anyone But You, which is a comedy romance with Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell. Migration, which is that animated? Yeah, it's animated, right? Animated film, starring the voices of Elizabeth Banks and Danny DeVito. Elizabeth Banks, I'm wearing my Cocaine Bear t-shirt for you today. She directed Cocaine Bear. Memory with Jessica Chastain and Peter Sarsgaard. All of the Strangers with Andrew Scott, Paul Mescal. The Iron Claw, which Johnny's been wanting to see, the wrestling movie with Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White, both terrific actors.
Oh, Maura Tierney's in it.
And Maura Tierney, yes. Yeah. And Noryang Deadly Sea, an action biography history war movie. Long movie again, 2 hours and 30 minutes, but looks kind of interesting as well. So you got lots of choices. And then on Christmas Day, you've got Ferrari opening up, which I know John can't wait for.
That looks very interesting as well.
The Crime is Mine, a comedy crime drama. The Boys in the Boat, which is George Clooney's new movie about rowing.
It's not just about rowing. Apparently, it's based on true fact about early days of America's involvement in the Olympics, the Summer Olympics.
It's got pretty mild reviews, which I'm finding surprising because George Clooney's a heck of a filmmaker.
Oh yeah.
But and also The Color Purple, the musical version, is out this Christmas Day as well. So I think those will all do rather well. Look at this movie down here on December 30th. Looks like maybe a Chinese movie, or probably a Chinese. The Goldfinger. Sounds like something we all know.
When I first saw that, I'm going, Goldfinger. Oh, the Goldfinger.
Shaw Organization. So I believe that is a Chinese movie. All right. So moving on, top 20 Christmas movies of all time. Johnny, we know the ones we guessed last week. Can you think of any that maybe are in color that you think might be on this list of top 20 Christmas movies?
Well, I can think of one that I'm sure is not on that list.
Which one's that?
Was it Bloody Christmas Bloody or something like that? It had a Santa in his sleigh, and he was slaying people.
There's a lot of those movies these days.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there was recently somebody did a poll. I have no idea who did it. I have no idea how scientific it was. And they asked people if they'd rather see a Christmas romantic comedy or a Christmas action adventure movie. And most of them, by like 70%, chose action adventure movie. And there are those movies like Fat Man that Mel Gibson did. Have you ever seen the Fat Man movie?
Yes,
I like so much fun. And the new one I got to look it up, folks. I'm sorry. It's the star of Stranger Things did a Santa Claus movie, and I'm going to try to find it right now for you. Violent Night from last year. I starred David Harbour as Santa Claus. And that was a good one too, because Santa's making his deliveries while these terrorists are taking over these people's home to rob the safe that's there or some secret that's there. And at first Santa just wants to get out. He doesn't want to be part of it, but he's Santa. He gets dragged in, and he's got special powers that help him beat up the bad guys. So those are both a lot of fun. And I don't think either one of those is on the list. I don't think Bad Santa is probably on the list, but maybe, you know.
What about Bad Santa 2?
That was a great reach there. Thanks for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We'll find out. Let's start the list and see what we got on the list here for the 20 best Christmas movies of all time. The one that I've talked about, and people on KVTA are probably sick of it because I've talked about it every year during our Christmas time, is Ernest Saves Christmas.
Yeah.
I love that movie because it's funny, it's slapstick, and it's got such a big heart. It's hard to resist that movie. So that's the one I would recommend. I doubt that Entertainment Weekly, which is where I got this list from, has it on their list. So let's go and see what we got here. So number 20.
Before we go on to that, I did a reflection of Candy Cane, the Eddie Murphy. Excuse me.
I don't know what you mean by reflection.
I thought.
You rethought about Candy Cane Lane.
I didn't think hard. I just rethought about it. You're right. It was so bad. It was terrible.
What changed your mind?
I just started thinking about this, that, and the other things. Like, no, I'm sorry, Eddie, you missed the boat on this one.
He really didn't, because the movie's super popular. It doesn't matter what we say.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
I have to, and a lot of people have come up to me and said, you said that Candy Cane Lane movie was bad. I heard you on KVTA, or I heard you on the Backseat Mogul show, and it wasn't bad. And going, well, okay, everybody has their own tastes, but I didn't like the way they tried to force every possible cliche into that movie at the cost of making it unfunny. The thing that broke the camel's back, and it was almost broke at that point anyway, was when and I talked about this when we reviewed it, that little girl at the end is standing next to the villain who almost took her father away permanently by turning him into a toy. And she says, all he needs is a hug. And she runs over and hugs the villain. Like, oh my God. That was it for me. Camel's back snapped. All right. So top 20 Christmas movies of all time. We're starting with number 20, The Santa Claus from 1994. Yes. Tim Allen played Santa Claus in that. That was originally a theatrical film, was it not?
Yes.
And then they've turned it into a number of sequels. I don't know if any of the sequels were theatrical, but they were.
No, I think they were.
But not all of them. I mean, maybe the first, second, maybe the third one. But
I don't know how many sequels they did to it, but at least one, possibly two sequels. And I could have swore I thought they were all theatrical.
It's entirely possible. But now they're all, I think, directly to Disney Plus, if I'm not mistaken. So, in fact, I think there's a series on Disney Plus now, or coming soon from Disney Plus. From 1984, Gremlins.
Now, didn't we talk about that one?
I'm sure we did at some point. Gremlins is a classic movie.
It is. I liked it.
And there's more Gremlins coming. They keep talking about making more Gremlin movies, more Gremlin TV shows, and I'm okay with that. The Gremlins are a lot of fun.
As long as they bring Phoebe Cates back, yes.
And, well, we'll see about that. I think Phoebe Cates is retired.
Oh, yeah, she retired a long time ago.
But she might come out of retirement. I mean, Cameron Diaz did, right?
One of my favorite movies by her is Drop Dead Fred.
With Howie Mandel?
No, I can't remember who Fred was.
Drop Dead?
It was an English actor, and I cannot remember his name.
Drop Dead Fred.
And I really enjoyed
Rick Mayall played Drop Dead Fred. There's Phoebe.
Yeah.
She's quite a beautiful woman, and she was always a talented actress as well. And as they say here in the Entertainment Weekly story, Gremlins isn't a Christmas movie per se, but it does take place during the holidays. So that makes it a Christmas movie as far as I'm concerned, at least. Number 18 on the list, and I need to watch this movie again this year because I haven't seen it in a long time. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation from 1989. Another movie that is just hysterically funny, a little bit raunchier than most Christmas movies, but also got a very, very big heart. And that's important with the Christmas movie. When's the last time you saw that?
Long time.
You notice my record's better so far. I've seen The Santa Claus. I've seen Gremlins. I've seen National Lampoon's Vacation.
Same with me.
Last week I didn't do so good.
That's true. Me too.
Number 17 on the list is Scrooge with Bill Murray from 1988. That was one of the many Christmas Carol remakes that we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a particularly interesting one, but was, Bill Murray was a television exec in that, right?
Some type of big executive.
Yeah, Heartless TV exec, it says here. And it says it's a pretty much the same film as Groundhog Day. Jerk becomes a better man on the eve of a national holiday. But that's what Bill Murray does best, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bill Murray does that jerk character turning into a nice guy. Number 16 on the list, the most argued about Christmas movie of all time, but I say it is a Christmas movie. Johnny?
Yes.
Die Hard from 1988, the classic action adventure movie. I shouldn't have said that. Because when I went to the screening for Die Hard at 20th Century Fox, they had cameras set outside.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked you to give your opinion on. I got to take this call. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, guys. Johnny, talk about something.
I definitely think it was a fantastic Christmas movie, and the follow-up, Die Hard 2, which takes place in the wintertime. And I can't remember if that was actually supposed to be. Yes, I think that was around Christmas as well. And I don't know if Die Hard 2 is on this list or not, but Christmas has always been one of my favorite all-time times of the year, especially when I was a little kid, waking up early Christmas morning, wanting to go down and look at what's all underneath the Christmas tree and just begging at the chomps. That's not the right word I wanted to say either, but just, can't wait till everybody wake up. Let's open up presents. But that's what it's like when you're a little kid. And when you get older too, say, hey, how come nobody's getting up? Let's open up these presents. But fortunately for me, I got to grow up when we had Christmas in the snow. And I miss Christmas in the snow, waking up Christmas morning and there's a layer of fresh white powder out there. But anyway, and Scotty has come back into the studio to join us.
Sorry about that, folks. I had to rescue James. He was came to the House of Magic here to do some work and didn't have a key. So I had to go get him. And now I run upstairs and down and I'm out of breath. Anyway, Die Hard, great movie. Back to the Fox thing. So they were asking you as you came out to give your opinion of the movie. So I came out and I said, that's one of the greatest action adventure movies of all time. And they said, okay, next. And they told me, you can't see action. It's just an adventure movie. I'm going, no, it's pretty much an action movie. Is more than
I mean, when you see the guy jumping off the side of the top of the building with a fire hose, that's action.
Indiana Jones is more adventure.
Yeah.
But they didn't want you to use the word action like it was a dirty word. Yippee-ki-yay. That's all I'll say. I had a drink the other day that went to this, the Rocks and Drams out in Ventura. And I'm sorry that I'm out of breath, but I still am out of breath. I literally ran downstairs and ran back up. And they had a little Christmas boutique where it's not a boutique, a Christmas theme. And you booked your time in advance and you sat down there and they had Christmas themed drinks and the place was super decorated for Christmas and Christmas menu. They had, when they brought the lobster out, it had a sparkler on it. It was a lot of fun. But they had drinks that they had designed just for that event. And one of them was the Yippee-ki-yay Mother F asterisks R. And I knew instantly that I had to order that drink. So the server came over and she asked me what I wanted to drink. And I told her, I'll have the Yippee-ki-yay Mother Farmer. And she looked at me and she goes, that fits. I go, I know, doesn't it?
Now, what's the name of this place again?
Rocks and Drams.
Oh, that sounds cool.
It's out in Ventura it's across from Brace Heller's office.
Oh, okay.
Which is Finney's in Ventura. It's above Finney's where Brace is at. But yeah. So anyway, Alan Rickman in Die Hard. That was the first film that he made a solid impact on me.
Oh yeah. He's fantastic.
Yeah, he was perfect.
He is sorely missed.
Very much so. Very much so. That one hurt. Number 15, Miracle on 34th Street. This is the 1947 original. As I mentioned last week, I haven't seen it. So Probably should watch it at some point.
You still haven't seen it?
Well, it's only been a week.
Oh, I mean, look at the talent.
Okay. Tell
Maureen
me who.
O'Hara.
Oh, no, he's reading it. I'm not going to let him read it.
No, I'm not. That's Maureen O'Hara.
Which one?
The little girl. Duh. The grown up. And then the little girl is Natalie Wood. Oh, my gosh. Now, I cannot remember. It's not Edwin.
No, that's Alan Hale Jr.
No, that's not Alan Hale Jr.
No, it's Edmund.
Edmund Gwynn.
Gwynn, yes.
Yes.
Anyway, I know it's supposed to be, and he's supposed to be the greatest Santa Claus ever on film. But I will watch it someday, I promise. Number 11 from 1954, White Christmas. That one I have seen. I actually, it was on, I think it was on Netflix last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I've never seen this. I'm going to sit down and watch this movie. And it was kind of tough because my wife kept coming in. Why are you watching this all movie? It's because it's what I do. I just like to know and see things that I'm aware of. Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, and George Clooney's aunt are all in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Rosemary Clooney.
She had a powerful voice. Rosemary Clooney had a very powerful voice.
Did she?
Oh yeah,
I haven't seen the
movie.
movie.
Was a singer. Well, you watched the movie, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Didn't you hear her
Was
sing?
that her?
Yeah. Hey.
The Nightmare Before Christmas from 1993 is number 13 on the list, which is an appropriate number for The Nightmare Before Christmas to be. I love that movie so much. And I've watched it every year at Halloween or Christmas. And I didn't this year because I was starting to get burned out on it. And I don't want to be burned out on it. So that's the thing about that one that's so great is it's a Halloween classic and it's a Christmas classic.
Mm-hmm.
It's both. And a truly terrific film. Who directed that movie?
Oh, Johnny Depp's buddy, Tim Burton.
That is incorrect.
Tim Burton did.
That's what everybody thinks. They're Tim Burton's characters and Tim Burton's story, but Henry Selick directed Nightmare
My
Before
apologies,
Christmas.
Henry.
You're not the only one. He says that's one of the things that always bothers him. Everybody thinks that Tim Burton directed The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Well, isn't it called Tim Burton's Nightmare Before
because
Christmas?
it's his story and his characters.
Oh, okay.
But it's not his direction. So I've always wondered how different it would be if it was his direction, because it's pretty perfect as is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, would have Tim Burton created it as well as Henry Selick did? I don't know. Just, it's interesting. So anyway, Henry Selick directed that movie. Trading Places is number 12 from 1983. Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, and Jamie Lee Curtis, of course. That was the movie that it's a classic movie for obvious reasons, where the two very rich men trade places with two very poor men, and which is the title of the film, Trading Places. And of course, as you can imagine, a lot of weirdness ensues. I think I gasped audibly when Jamie Lee Curtis did her nude scene in that movie.
Wow.
It was because it was unexpected and it was beautiful. So,
not just beautiful, but perfect.
Yeah. And she was so good in that movie too.
Mm-hmm.
I know that part of the reason she never got the recognition she finally got was because she did a lot of those horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
She got typecast.
Wasn't she called the Scream
She was
Queen?
one of the Scream Queens. Yes. And I'm so glad that she won Best Supporting Actress this year for something over everything else, over the place everywhere but the Sideways. I can never remember the title of that movie.
Say that again.
No, not gonna. But it was a great movie. But I could never. Let me see if I can find the title so I could read it. I could just never get it straight. Jamie Lee Curtis Oscar, and that was for. Come on, where's it at?
We're doing a drum roll here. Yeah, I can only do this so long.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Oh yeah,
that's not that hard for me.
That's on Amazon Prime right now, Prime Video.
It's such a great movie. You have to. I'm telling you though, you have to sit down and you have to focus on it from beginning to end. Because if you get up to get a cup of coffee or to use the restroom, you're going to lose track of time. If you check your message, you're going to lose track of it. The theater is the best place to see that movie because your attention is forced. But it is a truly great movie. And I'm so glad it did so well at the Oscars. Rumor has it, and I don't know if this is true, but I hope that it is, that the sequel is being written as we speak. And it's called Nothing Nowhere in No Place. or something like that. So it's just very anxious to see what ends up happening with that. But if in a way you don't want them to do a sequel because you don't want them to screw up the memory, but they might.
Okay, here's a little bit of Jamie Lee Curtis trivia. Can you name the TV series that she was in?
Yes, it was Combat. No, I don't know what
you
TV
are
series.
So close.
Wow. Okay, what is it?
Operation Petticoat.
That makes sense.
Which is named after the movie Operation Petticoat.
How old was she in that?
Well, she played one of the whacks in it, one of the nurses.
So she was like 17 or 18, maybe?
Could have been. And what's so amazing about that, here's Jamie Lee Curtis is in the TV series Operation Petticoat. Unfortunately, it didn't last very long. Her father, Tony Curtis, was in the movie Operation Petticoat.
Nepotism.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Jamie Lee Curtis, and Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd, and the two older gentlemen who I'm sorry, I can't think of their names at the moment, but they were terrific as well. So, great movie all around. Number 11, recently parodied in the animated film Merry Little Batman, Home Alone from 1990. Home Alone, of course, everybody knows it's about the young boy who's left alone by his parents accidentally and has to fend for himself when a pair of burglars come to the house and try to rob him. Truly a Christmas classic, a movie that has stood the test of time. And as I said, in the new animated film, Merry Little Batman, where's that at? I was going to tell you where to watch. I think it's on Max, but don't quote me on that.
Oh no, that's also on Prime Video.
Is that Prime Video?
But I don't know if it's free or if you have to pay.
It's part of the payment because I didn't pay for it.
Okay.
So it's very funny. It's Batman is retired.
Mm-hmm.
He's cleaned up. Gotham City has no crime, so he's retired to take care of his son, who's now 8 years old when this movie takes place. His son knows that his dad was Batman. He's very proud of his dad being Batman, and he wants nothing more in the world than to become a superhero himself. Well, Batman gets a call from the Justice League, and they need his help. So he takes off, and as he gets in the Batjet and flies away, there's a pair of burglars who think they're going to rob Wayne Manor. You can imagine how that goes. But it gets bigger than that. It goes beyond that. It becomes a big plot by the Joker and Mr. Freeze and all the Poison Ivy, all the Batman villains are there. And it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of Easter eggs hidden in it for Batman fans. My favorite one was the Batjet crashes. And he's all upset because he's not going to be home with his son on Christmas. And he's working on the Batjet and he's talking to himself and he's, I'm just a terrible father. I'm the worst father there couldn't be. Can't even be with his own son on Christmas Day. And he takes a deep breath and he goes, what did the psychiatrist tell you about brooding? They always call Batman the brooding superhero. I thought that's some funny stuff. That was good. So anyway, that's not on the list, but I recommend that too. Merry Little Batman. I'm going to put an arrow here in front of this so that I look at the camera and not the microphone when I'm talking, because I always look at this. I mean, be looking at you guys. So
yeah, not just an arrow, but a little sign says, "Look here."
Yeah,
look
something
here.
like that. Something like just remind me to look at you. All right, so number 10, we're in the top 10 Christmas movies of all time right now, and number 10 on the list is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Yeah, Red-Nosed. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer from 1964.
Oh, I remember that.
That is a television classic, right? That was originally a television movie. They said that this list contains everything. So the TV movie, yeah, that's, there are a number of those movies that are going to appear on this list that were annuals. You watched them every year, no matter what, because you waited for them. You wanted to see them. And the same with Halloween. There was one on Halloween that I finally bought on DVD. I was so happy. Mad Monster Party. I couldn't wait for Mad Monster Party to come on TV. And these Christmas movies are the same way. You waited every year to see Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And Yes, Virginia, There Was a Santa Claus was one that went for many years. Those things, they're just classics. And they really are. Now you can buy them on Blu-ray too and collect them if you want
now,
to.
You know who sang the song Silver and Gold in this movie?
That was Karen Carpenter.
No.
I don't know.
Burl Ives.
Oh. Thanks.
He was a very rotund actor.
He was a very good folk singer as well.
Yes, he was.
He had that pretty much nailed. So that's number 10 on our list of the 20 greatest Christmas movies of all time. Number 9 is another one, The Year Without a Santa Claus from 1974. Another Rankin Bass production, I believe. And that was the one that had the Burgermeister in it. Wasn't it the Heat Miser? No, it was the Burgermeister, I thought.
I thought, no, it's Heat Miser. It says it up there.
I know, but I think there were 2.
Oh, well, I thought,
I don't know.
I thought the Burgermeister was from McDonald's.
No, there is a burger chain called Burgermeister, which was very upsetting to me because I created a chain of fast food joints called Burgermeister in one of my movies, Infested. And then I found out there really is a Burgermeister. Well, I think they got it from me.
Yeah, probably.
Don't tell
they
anybody.
Stole your idea.
Anyway, Year Without a Santa Claus from 1974, better known as the movie with Heat Miser. Santa, played by Mickey Rooney, has a cold and decides to take a year off from his Christmas duties. It's up to a pair of elves named Jingle Bells and Jangle Bells to save the day. But first, they must get past Heat Miser and Snow Miser, the best Christmas baddies since the Grinch. So Heat Miser obviously generates heat. Snow Miser obviously generates snow. So Burger Miser would.
No, I'm listening.
Just thinking that's
what?
Logic would be Burger Miser would generate.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 8, The Muppet Christmas Carol from 1992. That's Michael Caine, isn't it?
That sure looks like him.
Yeah. So I don't need to say anything else. Michael Caine, stop, watch. That's all there is to it. But now you get also Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog. So I've not seen this one.
And Gonzo.
So I'm assuming that Michael Caine plays Scrooge.
It looks like it.
And the Muppets are like, who's Tiny Tim? Can you see? Yeah, the rat, of course, is Tiny Tim, maybe. I don't know.
No, isn't Tiny
Tim. Oh,
Tim.
no, he's got the cross.
It's little Kermit's nephew.
Is that Kermit's nephew?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got his little cane there with him.
Fozzie Bear's up there.
Anyway, that's another one I have not seen for a long time. Number 8 on the greatest 20 Christmas movies of all time. Number 7, I can't believe it made the list. I can't believe this made the list. Not disagreeing with it, just shocked that anybody would put it on the list. Bad Santa from 2003. Bad Santa is probably the raunchiest Christmas movie of all time. Billy Bob Thornton plays a drunk department store Santa who robs stores on Christmas Eve with his buddy Marcus, played by Tony Cox. Don't let the kids watch this one. This one is not for children, but it is a very, very good movie, a very funny movie, a very obscene movie. And Billy Bob Thornton's perfect. There's been Billy Bob Thornton's always good, but there's been a few times when he's been perfect. This is one of them where he's been perfect. Fargo, he was perfect. The TV series, he was perfect. And of course, Sling Blade.
Oh, yeah, he was. Oh.
Yeah.
You would swear he was really like that.
That's
how good he was.
You watch Sling Blade now, and you don't see Billy Bob Thornton in there anywhere. It's pretty impressive. So at least those 3 times that he's been perfect, that is absolutely one of them. Number 6, and this one has become a classic, like I never would have guessed. Love Actually from 2003. This is a movie that people look forward to every year now. It's something that people talk about and that has become part of the Christmas culture. And it's a romantic comedy, of course. And it's Hugh Grant is one of the stars. And it's just so warm and also not warm because there's some sad elements in it as well. But it's just festive and another one that's got big heart. So have you seen Love Actually?
Nope. Never have.
That's one you need to see. If I'm going to watch Miracle on 34th Street, you need to watch Love Actually. Great movie. Number 5 on the list. Just say it with me. Well, duh. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. The original. This is the original from the original from 1966.
The air. It's an original.
Yeah. I was not a big fan of the Jim Carrey film.
I agree.
And I love the Grinch. Don't get me wrong. And I love Jim Carrey.
Oh yeah, Jim Carrey is fantastic, but to me, I thought he just went way over the top.
I don't know that that's the problem. I think it's just that the movie just didn't really capture the spirit like the original animated film did. So number 5 on the list, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. That was one, I promise you. every year as a kid. Could not wait to get to see it again. And by the way, if you haven't heard Gary Hoey's version of the Grinch theme, you need to hear it.
Oh, yeah.
It's really, really good. So that's number 5 on our list of 20 greatest Christmas movies. Number 4, another one. Yeah, it's become woven into our culture. Elf from 2003 with Will Ferrell. And is that Ed Asner as
Ed
the Santa
Asner,
Claus?
Santa
How
Claus.
great is that? I have not seen Elf in a long time. I keep telling myself I want to see it again, mainly because I miss James Caan, who was terrific in that movie too. And yeah, you know what? I get to see this one again soon. Elf deserves to be there. Where's it? Number 4. So there's 3 movies that, according to Entertainment Weekly, are better Christmas movies than Elf. We know what one of them is. We know what number 1 is, because I don't think any list that doesn't have that one as number 1 is considered moot. But what movies could they? What could be number 3 and number 2?
Well, I don't know if Bells of St. Mary's is going to be on this list or not. It was on the list last week.
It was. Those were black and white movies,
yeah.
though, and they're black and white movies in this list as
Uh-huh.
well. So maybe.
But not only is this live action animation, but like you said, black and white and color.
I know Ernest isn't going to be on there.
Oh, that would be.
And
so
I'm a little
cool if
hurt.
It was
A little hurt, but I'll get by. Let's find out. Number 3, top 3 Christmas movies of all. See, I'm looking at the microphone. Top 3 Christmas movies of all time. Number 3 is, well,
Of
yeah,
course.
should have thought of that. A Charlie Brown Christmas. Boy, people were ticked off when Apple bought that and put it on their streamer, so they couldn't watch it on the networks anymore. Guess what, folks? It's a new world. Enjoy your streamers while you can, because they're going to be going away too.
Yeah.
It's just the world of that kind of entertainment changes almost daily now. So, I mean, there's talks of huge mergers between giant studios for the streamers, because the streamers are all losing money.
Yeah. I mean, if you stop and look at it, we had reel to reel, we had long play albums, we had 45 records, we had 8 tracks, we had cassettes, we had, still have CDs.
Do we?
Oh yeah, and streaming, and it's just
And
what's next?
Digital media.
Yeah, what's going to be
MP3s
next?
and stuff. It's something. It's going to
Yeah.
be something. I told you that line from that show I watched the other day, and I think this guy is right. He said that in 5 years there'll be half the streamers there are now. I think that's true. And in 10 years, there'll be instead of watching stuff on a screen, you'll be sharing the room with people, watching them in your living room. And I think that's where the technology is going to go. I mean, here's the problem with all of it. Money. How much does it cost to get a TV set now? They're pretty cheap. You can get a big screen for $299 or less. But if you need a device that beams 3D projections of people into your home, that's not $299. Not today. Maybe it will be eventually. Well, probably not, because everything will be going up at that point. But anyway, it's just a theory. I don't see how the streamers can continue to deliver the product that they want us to see, that we want to see, without raising their prices. And there's going to come a point where the prices are too high. They're probably already there, and people are going to stop subscribing because it's too expensive.
Yeah.
Which is why, once again, I will ask you all, buy digital media, buy DVDs, buy Blu-rays, buy 4K discs, because then nobody can take that from you. If HBO decides to clear out 200 movies and 200 and 150 are movies you want to see, you've got them on backup. You've got discs.
Do you remember the laser disc?
Sure.
Unfortunately, it was not around long.
Laserdisc was a good format. The biggest problem with the Laserdisc is you had to flip it. Halfway through the movie, you had to get up and flip the disc over. That was the big problem with me with vinyl. I don't want to flip the disc.
Right.
So I know a lot of people are vinyl fans. I respect that. I do love the sound of vinyl, but I have always thought that compact discs captured the music best, in my opinion. And I could be wrong. Again, it's just my opinion. And I'm looking at the clock again instead of the camera. Number 2 on the list. Now we know what number 1 is. Let's just go ahead and say number 1 so we can.
It's got to be It's
That's
a Wonderful
exactly
Life.
what it is. Yes, It's a Wonderful Life. It's got to be.
It's gotta
But let's
be.
see. Maybe it's number 2. Building the suspense. Building, yeah. Okay. A Christmas Story from
It has to be
1983.
on this list.
Yeah, another one that has certainly become part of the culture. Every year, this movie came out in 1983.
Mhm.
Holy crud. 40 years ago? 40 years ago?
I got to tell you, we have a chain of sporting goods stores here in California. They might be all over the country. I'm not sure. But every so often, they'll have what they call their one-day deals. And every so often, they will put on a Red Ryder BB gun.
Oh, that's fun.
And I always think of this movie when I see that ad.
It is a classic movie. And, one of the reasons it's classic, Darren McGavin.
Mhm.
Do we need to say anything else? That guy was a legend. He was such a terrific actor. But it's based on a book, and it's a good story. And it's, like I said, it's become part of the culture. The thing that I was amazed by is I didn't realize it'd been 40 years already. But how many stores have you gone in and they have a Christmas Story section? They have the lamps with the stockings on it. They have the little ice molds and stuff, all based on this. The BB gun, the wagon.
Mhm.
There's a whole section of A Christmas Story, and that movie's 40 years old. So it has definitely stuck in the minds of everybody for a long time now. All right, number 1 on the list is. I was wrong. It's Ernest Saves Christmas.
Yes!
Now, Ernest Saves Christmas it's not. It's a Wonderful Life from 1946, of course. This movie is fascinating for so many reasons. First of all, that it's a Christmas classic for almost 90 years now.
Mhm.
Holy crud. I guess it's 80 years, but doesn't matter. Jimmy Stewart's performance in it is terrific. The writing is terrific. It's a feel-good movie.
Mhm.
Everything about it. But if you're interested in it, and I'm kind of curious about copyright and licensing and all that stuff. Read about the copyright and licensing for It's a Wonderful Life, because it's pretty fascinating. It started out as, of course, a studio film.
Mhm.
It fell into the public domain, so everybody played it every year. Every season they played. You saw it everywhere. And then some company found the original story, and this original story had not been copyrighted. So they copyrighted it. And they said, oh, now we own the movie because we own the story. You can't own the movie without the story. And I don't know if they're still getting away with that, or if that's been argued and fought. It's much like the Happy Birthday song.
Mhm.
The typical Happy Birthday. They're probably gonna get sued for copyrighting that. They found some lyrics up in somebody's attic, and they copyrighted the song. And for years, studios had to pay to use that song in the movie after they didn't originally, but suddenly they had to. Well, they finally got sick of that and countersued, and those people lost the copyright. So at least that's my understanding. If I'm wrong, don't sue me. That's just this. I'm some idiot on the internet. That's all.
When you and I worked for Burt Rosen, some of the movies that we distributed, they were in the public domain, but then somebody bought the copyright on those.
Yeah, but they can't. The problem with those movies were that they were either copyrighted incorrectly or they were never copyrighted at all. So anybody and everybody could sell them. We had people who claimed they'd bought the copyright. Okay, you can claim that. You can even file it with the U.S. government. But unless you have a chain of title proving that I bought it from this guy, who bought it from this guy, who bought it from this guy, who bought it from this guy, and that chain of title sticks, you don't have a copyright. What you have, and Disney's been great at this, is you have a fight. And you either go to war with the company who says they have the copyright and spend tens of thousands of dollars to free the movie for everybody, or you go, well, I just won't sell it anymore. I won't air it anymore. Which is what
doing.
Yeah, we would get a copyright notice instead of, we'd always argue, no, you don't. Send us your chain of title. But they could still sue us. And then we'd end up in court paying this money to lawyers to fight just to get something that everybody else has. So it's a weird, odd situation with public domain movies. By the way, did you see that Mickey Mouse is about to fall into the public domain?
No.
Steamboat Willie was made in 1928,
Mm-hmm.
and that film is becoming public domain. I don't know if that means the character also falls into the public domain, but I wouldn't be surprised. The way the copyright laws work, it's very weird. But yeah, because it was released in 1928, next year, Steamboat Willie is public domain.
Yeah, well, right now Disney is celebrating 100 years.
Yeah, but the way the copyright laws work is different. And I'm not going to get into that right now because there's some countries it's the death of the author plus 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Some countries it's the death of the author plus 70 years. And in the case of the United States, I think it's even something different than that. But because it's films and books that were published in released in 1928 that are coming into the public domain. J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings series in some countries is going public domain. It's a very interesting thing out there. So it's all next year, of course. And I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a copyright lawyer. I'm just kind of a fan of following how things go. For example, I'm really puzzled at this this movie. Somebody made a parody of the Joker movie, and it was supposed to premiere at, I think, the Telluride Film Festival. I'm not sure about that. Some film festival. And Warner Brothers said, if you air this, we'll sue you for copyright because the Joker is a copyrighted character, which is true. But parody is protected by law. You can parody anything. George Lucas sued a company because they made a porno movie called Sex Wars. And he lost. He said, no, it's a parody. You can't stop that. So this Joker movie, now I haven't seen it. I don't know. It claims to be a parody of the Joker movies. And if it's a parody, I don't know that they have a leg to stand on, Warner Brothers. I think Warner Brothers just... But again, here's what matters. Who's got bigger bucks? This Warner Brothers company or this poor little guy who made a movie?
Okay, who owns DC Comics?
I think it's all Warner Brothers now.
Oh, okay.
And it's probably above that. It's probably some corporation like AT&T or something. I don't know.
Joker was a DC character.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if Warner's owns DC.
But they can't stop a parody.
No.
A parody is protected by law. So I don't know. It's very interesting. It's like there was a recent case where Jack Daniels sued a dog toy company because they made a doggy toy that resembled their bottle. But it was like, Dog Daniels or something like that. It was a parody. But Jack Daniels sued them and won. So I don't know, does the parody law only apply to media or does it apply to, I don't know. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just an idiot who's on the internet. But that's, you know what? I think we're going to change the name of the show. That idiot on the internet.
Oh, you're going to have to go those two idiots.
Well, no, I was just talking about you.
Oh, wait. Hey, I got a big question. And I've seen this movie. I saw the television version of it by one of your favorite authors.
I have a lot of favorite authors,
Yes.
John. Don't ask me to guess.
The Shining.
Oh, Mr. Stephen King.
Now, that takes place during the winter,
Yes.
during the snow.
Mm-hmm.
Does it start out at Christmas time? I can't remember.
I don't remember any Christmas elements to it.
Because I know they closed the inn down.
The Overlook Hotel.
Yes, they close it down for the season.
Right.
Because of the snow and all that. But I can't remember if it's...
I don't remember any Christmas elements in it at all. I'd have to see it again. That's also another interesting movie because Stephen King hates it. Stanley Kubrick loved it. He directed it. He should love it. And I think that it's good. I just think it's different than the book. If you want to see a really good telling of the book, watch the Shining television miniseries. It was very good. But that being said, Merry Christmas, Mrs. Torrance. Anybody get that?
Red rum.
Red rum. All right, folks, that's it for us.
Oh, we did have some red rum. Back in the old days of the old show?
Yes, there was actually a product called Red Rum.
Yeah.
What is Red Rum backwards?
Murder.
That's right. All right, folks, that's it for us this week. We will be back next. Will we be back next week? Yeah, we'll be back next week. For our last show of 2023. Thank you all for listening this year. We do appreciate it. A Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and whatever else you want to celebrate. Just go do it.
Tell you what, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, happy whatever your faith does this time of year. May it be joyful and joyous.
Our buddy Keith, who sadly passed away, had a saying, and I thought I had it written down here, but I think I lost. Oh, I got it right here. This is what Keith said to everybody every year. Happy Hana Rama Kwan Yulmus. Got it all in there. So happy Hana Rama Kwan Yulmus to all of you. And we'll see you next week. By the way, Grape is having a fantastic New Year's Eve party this year. So we highly recommend you go out there and say hi to them. Adam, Josh, and Tiffany are the people that are our friends there. It is a terrific place. The longest bar in Ventura County. Awesome cocktails. I mean, we're talking handcrafted cocktails, good stuff, and a music lineup that is not to be believed. You cannot, the people who go through that place. Simon Phillips just played a show there. And he, I saw him with Derek Sherinian there, and he's just terrific. It's just amazing the talent they get out there. So check out the Grape, and we'll see you next week. Johnny, anything else to say?
Just Merry Christmas. Go visit your local theaters, and especially your mom and pop theaters, and just be safe this Christmas season, because there's going to be a lot of kids out there riding their brand new bicycles, rolling skating on their brand new inline skates.
I'm sorry I asked.
So just be safe, and because we want you to listen to us next show
and watch us, because now we're on the internet. I really have to get that intro done to let people know that we're on live on YouTube now instead of Spreaker. Still get us in Spreaker, don't get me wrong, but we distribute through Spreaker, but we're live on YouTube.
And visit the Grape, House of Jazz and Spirits, and also visit the Harbor Cove Cafe.
Yeah, they got
tell them we sent you.
They got their liquor license hopefully in just a couple of weeks, and the tiki drinks will be flowing. All right, folks, we'll see you later. This is The Grape. Brought to you by The Grape, Ventura County's premier jazz venue and cocktail lounge, located at 2733 East Main Street in Ventura. For menu and music schedule, visit them online at thegrape.club.